Welcome to the listening show. It is me, Robot Zach. I am accompanied today by my co-host, Robot Walter. Walter, how is your day going?
Fine.
You're a newer model than me. You are a newer model than me. You have a more updated algorithm of vocal something. I don't know. I've been practicing that like raspy thing that you can do with your voice if you practice it. But I've been practicing it so much that I'm fatigued with it. But I was like, I'm gonna try it, but I'm a little too fatigued.
I never tried it, and I wasn't brave enough.
Really?
I thought you may have wanted me to try, but I wasn't gonna try because
Oh,
I'm
no,
a
I don't-
coward. I wasn't
yeah.
sure.
No, that's okay. You don't have to. I would never push you beyond your comfort zone. That's like
The last thing I'd want for you, my friend,
is for you to venture out.
is to try.
It's weird. It's like you go. What you do is you growl, but then you find the growl tone where it becomes like really easy. Yeah. For me, that's right here. And then you learn to talk at the same time. The only problem is that you have to have breath control when you do it. And so when you are doing that, you are a robot. And sometimes it sounds pretty clear like that did, but.
I don't think I could do something like that without really wearing myself out.
Yeah. When you do it right, it doesn't hurt. Like it doesn't hurt me anymore. Like right now, it doesn't hurt to do this at all. It just fatigues you because of like breath control.
Yeah.
But that's what like beatboxers do when they do their. They do all that stuff, and it's really impressive. I can't do all like the. All that goofy stuff they do, but they do that when they want to do their dubstep stuff, and it's cool. What?
Nothing.
You looked like you wanted to say something.
I just went. That would be a fun thing to do in public or with your friends. You go like you were about to say something. You stop yourself and go, "What?" Like nothing. Keep doing that.
Hey, what's the longest you've ever held your breath?
Held.
Yeah. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know why I felt the compulsory need to correct you. Wrong.
Hold.
Maybe a minute. I don't
Really?
Maybe. I think so. I don't know for a fact, but I know it was. Well, I know at least 30 seconds. I think it was a minute, but I lost. I died. Me and my brothers, or one of my brothers did that, and he beat me. One thing we did, and I'm not trying to get off from you answering for yourself, but I thought about this because you asked it. One of the challenges we had was to do somersaults. What do you call it? Like just in a hot tub. So in a hot tub, whatever, at the surface of the water, hold your breath in revolutions. And he won. He did, I think it was at least a minute of just revolutions. No breath. You can't take breaths. So that's the whole challenge. How many can you do before you have to come up for air?
Wow.
Anyway, he beat me. I'm like, man, that and holding your breath. So
That's
exerting
a lot.
yourself.
That's
Anyway,
expending
he always
energy
beat
too.
me and stuff. Anyway, sorry. What's the longest you've held your breath for?
Guess. I know the exact
2.5 minutes.
Higher.
3.5 minutes.
Higher.
Well, at this point, I have no idea.
You're close.
420.
No, it's like 3. I think it was 340.
Okay.
340 exactly. But what I did, and this is what happens. I noticed this. The first time you hold your breath, you just like, if right now we were just about.
It'd be very difficult.
Yeah, you'd get over a minute for
But then
sure.
if we try it again, suddenly
You get a little more, but then like you do it like 5 times. You just do it regularly, and every time you'll get to go a little higher. But then you start hyperventilating and doing it. And hyperventilating oxygenates your blood a lot, and to where you don't need oxygen in your blood for longer. If you hyperventilate before you hold your breath, it adds like a minute to the time. Because like for a minute, you're like tingly because you're over oxygenated, but then you just feel regular, like you just started holding your breath, and it's so cool. It's weird because it kind of gives you a head high, and so it's probably not like exactly healthy for you, but I still do it sometimes. The other day I had a friend over and she was like, oh, I wonder how long I could hold my breath. I was like, I bet I could beat you. And she was like, I don't know. I could hold it for a long time and beat all my siblings or whatever. So we both held our breath, and I crushed her, of course, because I'm a man. But then I was after that. I was like, the trick is to hyperventilate first. And so then we both did that. We both did that on the couch, and we were just like breathing like crazy. And then I don't know what this sounds like.
Yeah,
They're like, is everything okay? No, we both hyperventilated and then we held. And she got over 2.5 minutes. And I got up to, or no, she got to over 2 minutes and I got over like I think I got 240 that time. But that's usually like when I first hyperventilate, I can get about 240 or so. But then I normally can add about a minute if I do it about 5 or 6 times in a row, which is crazy.
Imagine doing that and exerting yourself.
Oh, yeah.
I'm thinking about the Mission Impossible 4. I don't remember which one it is. What's when Tom Cruise has to go underwater and swim around for 3 minutes.
Yeah.
And I remember the first time I saw that, I go, I guess it's possible, but I guess only exceptional. No, I think it's actually very reasonable considering he's as a character in top physical condition. And you do see him hyperventilating to a degree before he holds his breath and jumps in. So yeah, I guess that's actually reasonable. But the 3 minutes on top of all that stuff underwater, I'm like, I mean, I guess it's possible, but like that's tough as balls.
Plus,
what's the longest someone's held their breath? Over 20 minutes or something?
Yeah, I think it was it Blaine?
Stupid amount.
Was it Blaine who did it? But what he did is he did the equivalent of hyperventilating times 10 because he got pure oxygen, hyperventilated on that to the point he almost passed out from hyperventilating. And then he held it and then he meditated and he learned and then he did it for a long time. It might have been 40 minutes. It was a long time. But then they suspended him over the city too. He did it like in the open too, which is crazy. You think that would make your heart beat faster, but I
wonder how if he was suspended. Whatever. I wonder how they actually measured if he was breathing or not.
He's completely submerged.
Oh, in water.
Yeah.
So that makes sense.
They built like a water tank. It's like this, and then maybe it wasn't 40 minutes. I get the impression that it was a long time, ridiculously long,
where none of us could do that.
Yeah,
that kind of long.
Yeah, but he's also a magician who, doesn't care if he dies as long as he makes money or whatever. They had like a heart monitor on him, I think.
That'd be helpful.
Yeah. Well, I remember even like when I did my longest, my 340 or whatever, I was pretty proud. But like the hyperventilating I had to do ahead of time, I was pretty lightheaded but it kind of feels like a head high. It kind of feels good. But and then when you do it right and you do that hold your breath thing right there and your lungs are super full, then like all your fingers start feeling tingly, kind of like your legs feel when they fall asleep. And then that's like what all your extremities feel like. It's like so much oxygen. It's kind of weird. But yeah, that was the thing that I thought of when you said, and I was like, oh wait, I held my breath.
I was just about to say, how do we even get to holding our breath for a long time? It's because I was.
Yeah. Yeah. Can you imagine a podcast like right now if we just were like, let's see who can hold our breath longest. And then there's like 3 minutes of silence.
Yeah. That'd be funny.
I'd do it.
I wouldn't. I like the idea.
Yeah. Hey, how was your trip?
Sorry, I had something in my mouth. No, it's just a remark. Apparently, I want to think on that. How weird that is that some of us would go
scoff,
and that's normal. But when you dwell on it, it's weird. I drove to Texas for MotoFest at the Texas Motor Speedway. That was like 3 days long. Yeah, here too. I sense it too. And that was good. Pretty cool being inside of a racetrack. There were cars going around the racetrack too sometimes too, like actual like NASCARs. And I saw an F1 car just going around like, this is cool. Yep. Good was the answer to your question. Have you ever been to a racetrack? You must have been to a racetrack.
Yeah.
Did you see a race at the racetrack?
Yeah.
Like a race or a practice?
It was probably some kind of practice. I was a kid, and all I remember is these are the NASCAR drivers, and they're racing.
I only went to one. It was a practice. It was like a Friday, and there was the NASCAR drivers, and just they weren't all going at once, but sometimes you'd see one like, oh, that's my favorite, it's Jeff Burton. Oh, that's so close. It's cool, but yeah, a real race, man, like a NASCAR race. I mean, that would be crazy because that'd be so loud.
I did see a wreck.
Oh yeah, you told me about that.
Yeah. Went with
your dad?
With the race. No, wait, what are you talking about? I saw a wreck when I watched that race.
In person.
The practice. Yeah, there was a wreck.
Yeah, but didn't you go with your dad?
I think I went I don't remember if he was there. I know one person I went with was a family friend, if you remember Peggy.
Yeah.
She took me, and maybe Dad was there. And what I remember about it is a guy there's this guy who was selling beers, and he gave one to me, and I was like 12 or something, and I remember being like, and I was just carrying this beer around. I wasn't about to open it because there was an adult nearby or whatever, but I just remember for a while holding this, and then finally this guy came, was like, "You're too young for that. Give me that," and he just like took it from me and then ate it.
Ate it. You're too young for that. Give me that.
Yeah, but I was like,
Crunch.
nobody's gonna. I was thinking in my head, I wonder what people would do if I just tried it, but I was too scared.
Oh.
I was like 12.
You're too good.
Yeah, scared.
Both of your shoes were too good.
Yeah, too goody old two socks. There's a and then I wonder what you're talking about with the you said with the wreck.
Well, you said you were just talking about watching a car wreck at a race.
Oh yeah.
I thought for some reason I remember you telling me about that. Maybe you did. I thought I remember you saying your dad was there, but I guess that's not important anyhow. I assume this is the same occasion because I don't think you've seen a car wreck at a race twice. I
went to a monster truck rally too.
That doesn't count, but
and I saw lots of cars wrecked there.
Yeah, I'd be dumb if you didn't.
Yeah, I was.
Everyone's just driving neatly in their monster trucks and not colliding at anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was a big fan of Grave Digger. I remember Grave Digger, and I was like, I love those colors because that was when I was into Monster Energy.
Purple and green
too. Green and black.
Oh, no purple.
They might have some like accent purple, but it was mostly green and black.
I do remember the green and black.
Yeah, and it had like a face on there, and I was like, wow, that's so cool because I was like a big fan of Monster Energy, the classic flavor. And I remember I had like Monster Energy in this hand, Monster Energy in this hand that I was holding for someone I was with. I'm just watching Gravedigger just cause destruction and chaos. I was like, this is the best, but it was like really loud too.
Yeah,
yeah. So was NASCAR. That's pretty loud.
I'd like to watch monster trucks sometime.
You've never gone?
No. How old were you when you would watch monster trucks?
I was probably, I don't know, 13 maybe.
Yeah.
It was one of those things that last minute, hey, you want to go? And family friend, somebody, and I was like, yeah, I got nothing better to do. I never had an interest before that, but I remember I watched Gravedigger come out. I was like, that's my favorite one. And then I learned that was every kid's favorite one. And then I was like, oh, whatever. But I not knowing anything to looking at Gravedigger and being like, wow. And then it did like a, and they're so big and loud. And yeah, I think my favorite part was like that. And then there was like races that they do around. And they'd like jump over the stuff whatever. And it was really fun to watch people go, and then they'd like land on the stuff perfect. It was great.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can tell I'm a real, motor event aficionado. Yeah. Speaking of, I guess we could talk about my car wreck because I got into an accident. I don't know. It's not a wreck because I didn't wreck it into anything, thankfully, but. So this last Sunday, not yesterday, but Sunday before last. We're late on the podcast, by the way.
Oh yeah,
it's
my fault. It's because I went on a trip to Texas.
Yeah,
contractually obligated for business, so that's my excuse.
We'll do 2 this week. It's fine.
Yeah. This one's making up for it, and we'll do our regular one this weekend.
But this last Sunday, I was driving to my parents' house, and it was raining really bad. And I've had my check engine light on for a while, and I didn't know that meant it turned off your traction control feature, but it does. And I didn't know that. And I'm used to just driving on traction control. If it's dangerous, it slows the car down and gets you down to a safe speed. Anyway, I feel, and I go, crap. And then it went, and it spun, and there was 5 other cars next to me.
Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah, and I just helicopter away.
Yeah, sorry.
There were 5 cars by me. I was the front left in a formation of 2 by 3. And I was very nervous because I lost control on my front end. My front end spun to the left. I'm trying to describe for listening audience. And I did 2 full revolutions before my tires caught traction again. But because when you start spinning, you turn your wheel counter to the way you're spinning to stop the spin. When it caught traction, I was facing basically forward, and so my wheels were faced all the way right while my car was faced forward. So it shot me straight towards the truck that was right to my right. And then I don't know how, but I reacted fast enough and I spun the wheel around really fast the other way. And so I finally caught, and then I spun went off the road, and then the road caught that front and kept me spinning the same way. And then I probably did about 2 more revolutions and slid about 100 yards before I stopped, because I was going about 85.
And the reason for this is because it was raining really, really bad.
Really bad.
I know that because I was out that morning, but not important. Other than that, it was raining very bad. You couldn't see. That's how much rain it was. It was so awful. Anyhow.
I could see the cars that were near me, and that's about as far as I could see. It was probably about 20 feet of visibility. And then the median along the way was completely flooded in water. It probably had 2 feet of standing water.
Grass median, right?
Grass median. Thankfully, there was no concrete. And it happened about 100 yards or so before a concrete underpass. So I was thinking, thankfully, I didn't lose control 100 yards later, because otherwise I'd be into a bridge and probably on an iron lung right now, or worse. I don't know. But it was pretty freaky. It rained all week, and I finally got my car back for good on Friday, and it rained again. And I didn't realize that I was a little traumatized by it, but once it started raining kind of hard in the car again, my arms locked up, and I was like, take a deep breath. I gotta calm down. Okay, it's not gonna happen again. Just drive slow, and I did, and it was fine.
Because you kind of skipped over it when you crashed. All you did was spin out and went and did into the median. The car didn't flip.
No, I don't think so.
Nothing. Talk about the damage and the repairs.
I don't know how interesting that part is, but I basically waited for several hours for the tow truck, and then I couldn't get it out. It was in standing water, and it was just completely buried in mud. And then they pulled it out. They towed it for me to the dealership. I had to pay $16 because they only covered like 11 miles of tow for whatever reason, insurance. And then they were like, yeah, so we need $16. It was like $16. Fine. Anyway, then they had to replace two tires and a wheel, and then a valve in the engine or whatever. And then everything was caked and bent up in the bottom.
Two wheels? You mean two? Did they actually replace 2 wheels?
Nope.
Or just two
tires and 1 wheel.
Oh, they replaced a wheel?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, one of the wheels bent
I believe
when it caught. Yeah. Yep. And then they initially fixed it after a couple of days. They had an order of the filter for the engine, and then a couple of days later they called and said it should be done. So I got a ride to there, picked up the car, and then I noticed that it was like rattling and it didn't sound right, and I got paranoid about that. I drove on it for a couple of days, and I was like, nah, it's getting worse. I'm going to take it in, and I did. And they said, oh, that was our bad. There was still a couple things that were bent out of shape. It was they said it looked like it could have gotten way worse damage the way those things were bent, but those things took the brunt of it. And I was like, that's good. And they were like, and luckily those are just things that are there to protect it from things like that. So we just bent them back into place, and then they're fine. And it is fine. It's driving good now.
Mm-hmm. Did you go? There was a noise after you got it back. Did you get that looked at?
That's what that was.
Okay,
that's what I was talking about.
Okay, so it's just something that was bent out of place.
There was 2 things. There was something that was bent out of place, and then they had to fix one other thing, and I can't remember. And they said it was their fault, so I didn't have to pay for it.
Right. Yeah.
Yep.
They should have noticed that when they fixed it the first time. But anyhow, it's all good now, right?
Yes. Yeah. And it was misaligned, and that was where the wobble was. I was like, I know it's got to be an alignment thing, but they said they aligned it, and then they drove on. They're like, no, it wasn't aligned all the way. We'll do a better job this time. And they did. It's fine now.
Good. I'm glad.
But it feels good to have all new tires and decent wheels, and
new tires is like having new shoes. Like stepping into new shoes, feels good. I have a car story, not as exciting as yours, if yours is over.
Yeah.
So I told you my 2 rears were bald on my car because it just chews through tires. And that morning that you crashed, I was out in the rain cussing a lot while driving because it was wobbling while I'm trying to drive on the line. It can't drive on the highway with the bald tires. So anyhow, I had to drive to Texas in that car. I thought if it's raining on the way down, I'm not going to make it. Unfortunately, it sprinkled a little bit on the way down, so I made it. And I thought, just in case it rains on the way back, and I don't want to pay for tires, but in case it does, I need to make sure I have tires ready to put on. So I called a local shop there in Texas and had them order in the tires because they're special ones. And so while I was there, I drifted the car around some, like one of the parking lots of the racetrack, because you have to, and it's fun. And I got back to the hotel, and I had the foreskin to think, hey, I should look at the tires.
What? Wait.
I should have switched the camera to your face. So
I was not expecting that.
Good, because that's something I came up with a while ago. I programmed it in my head. I was like, if I'm going to have a word that starts with 4, like foresight or forewarning, I'm going to say foreskin instead, and just say that in passing, because it's a funny word because it sounds bad, but it's not. So if you can just slip it in, it's funny.
I had the foreskin.
I had the foreskin to think about looking at my tires.
Sorry, keep going.
It's okay. It had the desired effect on you. Okay.
Oh wait, what?
Yeah, I was with the camera on you because your eyes just lit up. What? It'd also been funnier if you hadn't noticed, you know?
It took me a second. Okay, keep going.
After drifting the car around, I looked at the tires and I was like, "Oh my gosh!" There was an inch wide band of cords showing in the rear tires. I was like, "Oh well, those won't get me home, but I'll replace them the morning I go home. That's when I'll do it." So I got on the calendar and I went back to the event. And then I was driving and I heard a flopping noise with the tire, like it's not flat. What is that? And I realized what I was hearing was the cords fraying and slapping the ground.
Wow.
So it was literally ripping apart. I was like, okay, everything stops. I had a meeting at 3, but life is important.
Yeah.
So I got those replaced in the middle of the week, and that felt great to have a car with 2 rear new kicks, and now it drives fine. So anyhow, a non-issue turned into an issue. The little extra stinger on the end is that it didn't really rain on the way home. If I just hadn't drifted around, maybe they could have survived the trip back. But the end.
But hey, you got to have fun.
Yeah, I did have fun.
You bought wheels anyway. You're supposed to do that when you are getting new wheels and you know about it.
Tires?
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Sorry.
Yeah, tire. When you get new tires, you're supposed to shred the old ones up.
Yeah, I just didn't think they were going to actually become unusable in that time. I thought it was just a little bit of... It's good spins, though. Yeah, you kind of touched on this, but considering your crash and everything, very good outcome for you and your repairs. Mm-hmm. So I was glad about that.
Me too.
It's a good story.
Yep. It was good timing. If I was gonna have car problems, it was a good time because I needed to take it in for servicing soon anyway. It was like maybe 1,000 miles early, but whatever. Yeah. We were talking, I was talking to somebody, it was my granddad. We met up at a graduation party for my cousin. And he said, I was driving down K7 and I saw where you slid off and that was kind of close to that underpass there. And I was like, I know. Yeah. He's like, boy, I know my mom was freaked out because I was on the way to her house. And I was like, because I'm sitting there, it's pouring rain and I'm in the median and I'm thinking, my heart's beating really fast and my hands are kind of clenched to the steering wheel. And the first thing I think is, all right, just calm down for a second. So I just sat there for about, probably 30 seconds. And I just thought for a minute. I go, okay, first thing I need to do is go to my Geico app. And so I did that. And it was just interesting to watch myself in crisis. What are the right things to do? And then just think for 30 seconds. And then I just boom, boom, boom. First call this person, get a tow. Once I know that, call mom, let her know I'm not going to be there. Once I do that, make sure I've got the money. I was like, and schedule the Toyota so I can see if I can do drop off because it's Sunday. Anyway, I was like, man, I'm good at this. It's like, good. I know some people, when the crises happen, they don't do that. I'm glad I'm glad that I knew what to do.
You ever pre-program yourself for some things? For example, I've pre-programmed what to do in certain motorcycle crashes. Like if I know I'm going to slide out, then this is going to happen in this order, A, B, C, D, E, every time. Mm-hmm. Like check the bike, or check yourself, check the bike. Someone's going to come over, get it off the road as soon as you can, and then we'll get that. Like I have this all in my head. It's kind of like the foreskin. That's a little one.
Yeah,
but
I think you do that more than me. But I do that.
Well, it's not like I'm. It's probably as simple as the fact that I have more vehicle woes to deal with. It'd be something that's worth programming. Like the Jeep forces me to have practice things like that where it breaks down a lot. Anyway,
I do that more with social situations.
that makes
Easy for me to
sense.
say. So somebody there's certain techniques that I've watched other people, or I hear stories about how people handle situations. I'm like, I want to handle situations like that. And so in my mind, I think, what would I do if this happens? And I recently came across a moment like that where like I had this friend over to my house and she spilled water on the carpet. Oh, I'm so sorry. And I said, no problem. And I spilled my water because I heard a story about my grandma doing that when she had company at the house. And I thought that's such a great way to dispel the tension. And it's just water. I was like, oh, it's no big deal. I just spilled it. And everybody laughed because it was funny and kind of shocking. And I was like, I can't take credit for that because that was my grandma's joke first. But
That's okay. You cite your sources. You can still do it. Just tell them after.
and I did it different than her because it was like a different, it wasn't water, but technicalities. It's the idea of the thing. Anyway, and so there's certain things like that, or like if I see someone bombing or something on a joke or whatever, then I have like preset, like I would want someone to behave like this, so I'm going to. Yeah, and I think that I know this one gal noticed this one time. We were in a group of people, and it was one of those group of people that's kind of sort of, what's the word, raucous, like kind of rowdy group, and everyone's talking over each other, whatever. And I heard this gal say a joke, and it was pretty funny. And I was like, yeah, that's funny. And I didn't say anything about it at the time, but then a guy next to her said the same joke. About 5 minutes later, everybody laughed. And I was like, I heard you say that. And it was one of those like, what? They're like, that is so funny, Jeff, or whatever his name was. I don't remember his name. I was like, you just said that just like 5 minutes ago. And I said it loud enough that everybody had to pay attention to me. Yeah. And she's like, I did. I'm so glad you heard that. And I was like, that was funny. And I pointed to her because this guy was over here like taking the credit for it. I was like, nope.
Joke theft is not a joke, Jim.
But I thought about it ahead of time. I was like, I don't want to. It's not about this person's shame for doing the joke.
Yeah,
it's a good joke and need to be heard.
It's just about getting credit where it's due. That's all.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that. Let the other guy steal the joke. Let the people laugh at that joke.
But make sure.
But do your diligence and credit the person who actually made the joke. It's as simple as that.
Yeah, that person's smile was so good. That's a quiet person, and they had a good joke, and that's happened a lot of times. I'm kind of shocked at how many times I'm in social situations and the quietest one says a great joke, and then it gets picked up and somebody else says either a very similar or the same joke. And I was like, I heard you say that. That's my response every time. I heard you just say that. It was so funny. I love it. It's about giving a compliment, but to where it's due. Anyway, there's things like that and other social situations where things happen. I think that I've got sort of.
I think it's true for anything or anybody for anything if they do it enough to where a program essentially is being written, whether they choose it consciously or not. Like think about an officer walking up to a driver at a traffic stop. Aside from being taught what to do, they have a routine in that social exchange. Like if I don't see the hands, then this is the tree of options of going down versus if he's compliant. This is the A, B, C, D, so you have way more social interactions than I do, I'm sure. So you probably have more programs. I don't know if programs is a crude word. At least you know what I mean. When it comes to vehicles, I have everybody has programs.
Yeah. I bet you have more programs for meeting strangers than I do for sure though.
That's funny. Yeah, it's probably true.
Definitely true. Cause like I watch, like if we're out together or whatever, at times when more people were out, and then since COVID, it's not been like that per se, but like when we went to Colorado or whatever, and if a fan would recognize you, like, oh, Walter, and I grew a program of what to do as the friend too, but you, like, I just watch you go, boom, and then you do your thing that you do, like, oh, thanks, or whatever you say. That's not typically your reaction. It's like, show as minimal expression, wait till they're done, and then you give them the smile, and then you say thanks or whatever. It's not that you're consciously doing this. It's just these are the things that I do when I encounter this, and or
What is your program exactly for when I talk to someone who recognizes me?
Smile and shut up. They're not about me. Yeah. They don't notice me anyway. They're just
that.
like,
you should do that though. Hey, want to get a picture with me? I'm Zach.
Yeah. I've definitely thought about it.
That's the Ant-Man from Avengers Endgame.
Yeah.
Just citing my sources, but yeah, just
I don't even, yeah. Cause that's not you could. Those people are. Not, they wouldn't see me anyway. They see you. And that's okay. It's as far as I'm concerned. I'll just hang out.
Just wait till one of these days. It's gonna be a switcheroo. Someone's gonna look in our direction, and you're gonna go, "Oh,
Zach from TikTok."
Yeah, they're gonna come out and recognize you. Go right past me. It's you, and I'm like, "Oh, well, okay. What do I do now? Just shut up, I guess."
Yeah, it's weird the first
That'd
couple times. It's weird the first couple times. And that's not to say that other people haven't like talked to me if they were fans of you or something. A lot of them have. A lot of them will be like, "Hey, what's going on, man?" And they do the usual thing, but then I've got a program for that too.
Yeah.
But anyway,
I'm sure there's what's the word, sociological or psychological definitions for what a program and a person is. Whatever.
Some default thing.
We've done this where we've explored and talked about things that other smarter people have almost certainly thought through and figured out already, but it's still fun to think about.
And they have all great technological terms that are more accurate and that we can
better understanding.
Yeah,
it's like fire exists, but we just rubbed a couple sticks together and saw smoke, and it's the coolest thing. And I'm just messing with the sticks over here. We know fire exists, but the fun is figuring it out for ourselves.
Yeah, and it's extra fun for us right now because we figured out it's hot too. Like, whoa, this is hot.
I want a button that's just Will Smith. Oh, and that's it. He doesn't say that much. Or just oh, or one of those.
Oh, programs.
It's
I was talking to a stranger this week, and she was talking about how her dream was to be in theater and do plays and stuff. And I was thinking about that this week again because it sounds fun.
Yeah, it does sound like fun. I was fantasizing about acting last night, but then you said dreams before that, and I remembered a couple nights ago, one part of my dream was I was in some room looking at something, and there was some girl in the room doing something else, and she just said a movie quote out loud or part of it, like, "I knew it. I know I made the right choice." And I go, "My best friend." Or I just turned around and I finished the quote, and I was like, "This is great. Like, we're just boom." And it was like a happy little, like, that was random, but like, boom, my wavelength in my brain. Anyway. Yeah. That wasn't a very good story, but it was a little thing I remember, and it was happy. Yeah. That has never happened before, I don't think.
Girl finishes your quote?
No. Somebody just in a quiet room when we're not paying attention to each other just blurts out a part of a movie quote. It never happens.
It does.
No, not to themselves when someone else is in the room. That hasn't happened to me. I think most of us are sensible enough to shut up and not talk to ourselves. Oh, yeah. It's not like, because it was directed at someone, that's fine, but it was to themselves. But yeah, I was like, oh.
That's happened to me multiple times where I've heard someone quoting a movie to their friends in a group, and then I finish the quote, and then it makes the friend group laugh.
Yeah, that makes more sense. That's to somebody else. This was just to herself. Like, no one really does that.
Yeah, somebody did that. The last time that happened, it was at AMC Theaters, and I think they were quoting Emperor's New Groove, and I finished the quote.
Oh, we were having movie night. Remember that? And one or both of us ended up quoting Emperor's New Groove. Happened earlier today, too, as a matter of fact. We started quoting Emperor's New Groove. But anyway.
That's an easy one. Yeah. But I think it was the line... I heard someone say, I think it was the line when he's in the diner. Oh, what is that? Oh,
you said he, so is it Kronk or Cusco?
They were, or no, they were doing an Yzma line, and I yelled the Kronk line from across the way, and it was, what was it? It was I can't remember the conversation, but because I can do a Kronk voice when I yell like this, and everybody, and I'm like, they're awesome, man, and I felt awesome, man. Yeah. I felt like awesome, man.
I trust you.
Yeah. Well, I was fantasizing anyway about the art thing, about theater and whatever. Right. I don't know if I'd want to do theater anymore. I want to write stuff. I want to write good stuff. Like music and musicals and stories. You remember when we were talking on the podcast about the best job you could have or whatever, or the greatest ability you could have, and you said entertaining, and I said storytelling, and how that like hit both of us hard. Yeah, I thought about that, and I was like, maybe that's what I want to be, like a good storyteller. How do you tell a story? because people don't just tell stories anymore. They write them, or they paint them, or animate them, or put them in plays. But they have to make the story first, and I think it'd be cool to make stories. And I have some ideas, but they have to be really fleshed out, and I have to have people poke at them and see where there's holes and where there's weakness and make them tough.
There are many things I'd like to do once and write a good story, whether that's a book or a movie. I would like to do that once one day, but that's work.
Yeah.
And I'm unwilling to commit to something like that now. Anyway, you're not wrong.
Well, I don't know.
But between storytelling and acting, if those are the two, which one speaks to you more? Which do you think would be more fulfilling? It's storytelling
for sure.
Yeah,
not even close.
That's interesting. I'm different because I want to bring a story to life. I want to act.
That's part of the process of storytelling.
Sure, but story writing, writing and acting, bringing a character to life just sounds like fun. Either way, whether that's being creative partially or fully in creating what the character is, or literally just being directed in every capacity. You do this, you sound like this. You're basically a robot. That also sounds like fun. Don't know why. To me,
it's the difference between performing someone else's story and writing your own. I don't care to do someone else's story. I want to be the storyteller.
Both are good, but between the two, for me, it's acting. It's bringing that story to life. I don't need to write it necessarily.
I can be Jordan Peele, and you can be Key. Yeah.
Keegan something.
Yeah. Because I can write the horror stories, and then you can do all the fun stuff like the acting and everything. But I'd rather write.
Different parts of it are fun. I mean, bringing a story to life, that's a vague term. Editing can be part of that.
Animation. You can be the animator and bring something to life. That's really important if you're doing cartoon.
I mentioned editing because it's an aspect that I'm actually partially interested in. I'm not an animator. I wouldn't be interested in doing that or writing music for something, which is part of it. But anyway,
we've had
the acting part.
You and I together we've come up with story ideas like really quick that we could do if we weren't so lazy. Lazy.
Yeah.
We had. Yeah.
Yeah. Our brain waves just went.
Yeah. We have this. We want to.
No,
we should do it.
I won't spoil too much. I'm just going to pass it. Among the many ideas we had, I think the most recent we had was for a movie, short movie called Julia, which is about it's a dumb movie, dumb plot, all acted basically by one person.
It's a short story.
Short story about a detective, and it's a cliche, dumb. What was it take place in the 50s noir?
Yeah, sort of noir,
but it's like a parody.
Cigarettes,
it's just dumb. Like it's almost, what would you call that?
Trench coat and fedora hat. And
the tone, what would you call that? Dumb TikTok quality almost? That's not the right word. It's dumb.
Short story YouTube video kind of thing.
And so it's a parody. So like the lips don't really match with the words. Like maybe 1920s is more accurate. Or maybe not. Whatever. It's a parody. And we had like a general idea of how the whole thing would go and how we could make it and whatever. I don't want to dwell on it, but that's just something
we could, if we spent
time
about a week, we could do it.
Oh yeah, we can do it in a week.
I think that we'll have time soon. We'll have the excuses to do fun things like that. We should, if we want to, but if we both don't want to be lazy anymore. It's like technically maybe you could think of that as a waste of time, but it's better to create dumb stuff than not do anything at all.
Yeah, that's the issue. We don't really have things to do that are better. We don't have adequate excuses for not doing these dumb things
or responsibilities. Really,
that's what I mean. We don't have things to be. Not really.
Yeah, one of these days we're gonna have responsibilities, and it's gonna not be. We won't be able to do Julia.
Won't be able to do it. I'm like, yeah,
dude, it's too late. We should get on it. I'm like feeling nervous now because Julia should be done. It's so good.
It's so bad.
It's good
that it's good.
I like it.
You know how we connect wavelengths to the wavelength sound? When we do that, Oh shoot, what was I gonna say? Just like we both knew what movie we were talking about, we both know exactly how the video and the movie is going to be made. Like it's already exists in our heads.
Yeah, and what's great is that like part of the like, and when you actually put it down, we noticed this with some of our sketches we'd do. Like we'd have a great idea for sketch, like funny, stupid sketches that are maybe a little dated, but and then when you start putting it down, it's like the stuff itself creates funny jokes. And then you realize, oh, wait, in editing, you can just do this. And that makes it 20 times funnier.
Yeah, that's always a good moment.
Yeah, it's great because it's like having a third person help you be funny. And that's just in the editing process and in the recording process. Sometimes you get a camera angle and it's like, oh, that makes it funnier. The camera shake in this weird way at this time and this amount of pause.
Like, this is oddly specific. I don't know if it exists in your mind like it does in mine. We did a Geico parody commercial, 15 seconds, called Guy and Co. for Guy and Company.
Guy and Company.
And there's an apple a day, keep the doctor away. And then in looping, he said, Mr. Higger, Mr. Ah, and you started screaming. And then so in dub, it just the scream comes in really quick, and it's just it doesn't sound natural, but it was funny. That's just something that happened in recording after the fact. Wasn't planned, but then I just elevated it.
Yeah,
one of those things. Oh, those are fun.
Yeah. One of these days, we need to uncover all those old ones, like you're switching to Guy and Co. Well, that one that you just talked about. Because what his line was, could switching to Guy and Co save you 14% or less on car insurance?
15% or more, whatever.
You said 14% or less.
Oh, I did, right? Because that was a joke.
Because the joke is 50% or more.
Less on car insurance.
And then you say, does an apple a day keep the doctor away? And then it shows me dressed up in scrubs, and I open the door, and then there's like an apple on the table, and I scream and run away. Yep. So it's stupid. It was just like inspired by the Geico commercials. And then we did some Old Spice.
We did New Spice.
We did New Spice.
Another dumb parody.
You pretended to be the muscle man, and you had really long hair.
I was thinking about the one when you were on screen. I forgot I even did that one.
Yeah, we both did.
So I did a parody of Terry Cruz's character, the bombastic, loud one, and then he did a parody of the other guy,
Mustafa or whatever his name is.
Yeah, whatever. The ladies' man with the
hello ladies. I almost did my line.
He did a parody of that. Or, two different commercials. I forgot I did it.
Look at your man. Now back to me. Now back at your man.
The chickens are now nuggets.
Yeah. That was one of my lines.
Yeah.
Yours was, you did a good job animating yours. Like the way that Terry Crews fights Odor, and he's like, blah,
block. He says,
block. And he's blocking the Odors. You animated Odors coming at you or whatever, but you let one of the Odors punch you. It was so funny.
Dumb.
It's like, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
The time you did was so funny. And then you made an explosion come out your butt and just all kinds of things. It was great. Explosion.
Horrible editing, preteen humor. That was. Almost anything you make is dumb when you go back to look at it. The older you get, the more embarrassing the older thing was. And it's hilarious then.
All the kids loved it too.
Right. Well, see, we made it for the right. We knew who our audience was when we made it. We made it for kids that were like, what was it, 8 to 10 years old, so it was great for them.
Well, we made it for a bunch of teenagers too. Like we played it at a party, a Halloween party we did, a Reformation Day party we did, and a bunch of like families were there.
I don't remember anything else about that day. This is dumb, except I remember telling one of the kids, because I can't remember how I brought up. It's like it came out of nowhere. I said, "Punch me in the stomach." I said, punch me in the stomach. It won't hurt. Watch this. And I had him punch me a few times because I've been doing P90X and I had abs and I'm strong now.
Yeah, punch me.
Punch me in the stomach. And
that's what I
remember them going like, wow. But they're kids. And I was like, how old would I have been?
17 probably. Because I was about 15.
It was before 18, but I was a teenager.
I think I was 14 or 15. We only met each other when I was 14, so it couldn't have been or before that.
It was shortly after we.
Yeah,
you
met
long after we met.
Yeah.
It's like a year or two.
Yeah, maybe we were 16, 19, 18 maybe. I don't know.
Video. Remember that shirt that you wore.
Yeah.
Like I drew a Sharpie on a white T-shirt to make it look like it had chest hair and abs or something stupid. It wasn't even a
muscles.
good drawing. I remember using and owning that shirt for a long time. It was really comfortable because I used it before then. I got it from my dad. Wow, remembering all that stuff. Anyway.
Yeah, and I was all skinny. I was a really skinny kid, and so he was like, "You don't look muscly at all, so we need to draw muscles on you.
You need to draw muscle like abs on the shirt because it'd be funny." And but it was
silly and dumb.
I don't think anybody even noticed. It just looked like a shirt.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah. And it was kind of crappily edited.
Yeah.
It was pretty crappy, but
that's what I meant with not just the preteen humor to be called. It was just crappy home video quality.
Yeah.
Made with effort. You could see that you and I tried, but like their technology sucks and their humor is pretty juvenile. But other than that,
yeah, I had a dachshund. His name's Linus, and he was overweight, and he did whatever I wanted, no matter what. And so what we did is we were recreating the one where he ends with "I'm on a horse" and well, we got the dog and we put him between my legs, and he's like this tiny. And I like folded my legs to make it look like I was like Indian sitting on the dog without actually hurting him. And he just like sat there the whole time. And I was thinking, I wonder if like, I hope he doesn't try to walk away while we're doing this. And I had chicken nuggets. That was another thing. So I had chicken nuggets and I know he was interested in the nuggets. So I'm not only balancing, he's going to throw a football at me and then I'm going to catch this and I have to throw this at a certain time and act. But then also watch the dog and stuff. And so you can like, I look at that video and I see me thinking about 20 things.
Yep.
But it's still, we did a pretty good job, all things considered.
Executed the way we meant for it to. Say that.
Yeah.
So
yeah, there's a part where we throw a football and you pretended like you wrote this line. It was a great line, but you're like, what's this in my hand? It's a football. And then I eventually turns to, I can throw it across the world. You want to see it again? Oh, okay. And then I throw it to the left. And then we wait a second and I do some like eye rolls. And then you have to throw, I can't break eye contact with the camera. But you throw like 2 chickens at me because we wanted to say
chicken plushies.
The football is now 2 chickens to that thing that you love. And we were making fun of the 2 tickets to that thing anyway. And so I'm sitting here waiting for the and the football is now 2 chickens, that thing you love. And then you say, close your eyes, look again. The chickens are now nuggets. And then we pull up the new spice shampoo and then you zoom out.
I forgot I photoshopped the label.
You did.
And I don't know how if it showed up on the video at all, but like I was proud of that Photoshop.
It's pretty good
on the bottle. And
you printed it out.
Stupid.
Yeah, we spent a little bit of time.
That's what I meant. Like it was bad quality, but made with effort. Like they actually, they actually do. Yeah, so
and you could tell,
so you can appreciate it despite the crappy production quality.
Yeah,
kind of a thing.
Now look at your nose. Now puff out your cheeks. You look silly. It was silly. It's a silly little cute video from when kids were kids.
If we had been a few years younger, I think that video would have been better. Like if we were 8 years old, that would have been.
Oh yeah,
that's appropriate. But we were twice that age when we made it, so that's what made it seem kind of juvenile. It's just that.
Well, we were kind of juvenile. Yeah. We made you made your Batman dubs at about the same time too. So we were making we were coming up with all kinds of video jokes, and we're like, we're gonna make a channel and we're gonna be funny, and we realized, hey, we can still do that, but it's way less effort to just talk. And so we do that. And it's the listening show.
There's always one excuse after another, aside from the fact that it's work to make those kinds of videos. The only other one I know that we made, since we're just talking about our sketches now, the only other one we made was Fat Legs.
No, we made 2 other ones. We made Cookie, too.
But that didn't go we didn't actually upload it anywhere. What was the other one? You said 2 others.
Well, we made Fat Legs. We made all the commercials, which was like 4 of them or whatever. And then there was the Cookie, and then there was
Too Much Milk. That's what it was, right? Too Much Milk. That one's good for what it was when we made it. And then
we got better as time went on. Fat
Legs was our most recent, which is old now, but it was our most recent.
It's our best one too.
It has to be because they just got better at it. Whatever. So whatever. I remember at one point I had a list. It might still exist somewhere. I've lost digital stuff over the years, so maybe it doesn't exist. But I had a list of our sketch ideas. and I'm sure some of them still exist. But we had at least 20 at one point.
And then we did Big Cousin too, but that one is in the ether, gone
Lost
for all
to the
time.
ages.
But there's I think the two that hold up for what they are Too Much Milk and Fat Legs. And Fat Legs is like, I bet I could put that on TikTok and it would do well.
Right. If it was on YouTube or something, I think it, for the most part, would have likes as opposed to dislikes for the most part. I think when you watch it, you understand what it's supposed to be. It's like, I don't want to use that as an example, but that actually is probably a good metric. You watch it and you see, this is dumb, but I can see that it's supposed to be dumb. This is intentional. Yeah. Okay, I can enjoy it.
Well, and that one is interesting because it's me. Basically, but
they usually are just about you.
Well, but here's where it's you, because the editing is the main humor in that thing. That you timed the editing perfect on every take, and so even though like it's just me talking and being stupid, you time things and you cut things in a certain way to make the timing so funny that I was thinking the whole time, like I'm watching this video, I'm like, man, people don't know how funny Walter is in this video because he edited it this way, and it is funny. It's not often you watch a video yourself and you go, that's pretty funny, but I think it's funny.
Man, thank you. I'm thinking about Fat Legs and yeah, I would like another one of those. That's one of those where what the joke almost is that it goes on too long, or that why this is still going. But yes, I think that was edited pretty okay. Yeah.
The premise is that I'm a bully and then you're in the fields. You are in the fields and you've got a tennis racket and you're swiping
the premise is you're insulting me and saying I have fat legs in several ways. That's the premise, and it's just a dumb.
Yeah.
I don't want to get anything, but that's the premise. Yeah.
We should put that on the listening show channel, just as a little short. That'd be fun.
At some point, like if we had like the listening show or the watching show. Did we mention that? We did mention that last time, didn't we?
Yeah, we didn't, because you said not to.
We did not?
Yeah, I guess we're talking about it now.
No, we don't have to.
That's okay.
I really feel like we talked about with your friend briefly.
Yeah, we didn't on the show.
Did we not talk about it on the show?
No, but we can.
Oh, no, I'll if you'll allow me to explain away. I don't want to dwell on it because it's nothing official, but the short version is we were thinking about potentially one time in the future playing video games on YouTube, and we were just discussing what would we call that, and like, obviously the watching show.
A show you can watch.
A show you can watch. So we're not committed to it. It's an idea. That's all that was. Sorry, I didn't want to get your hopes up or anything, but that's what I meant when I said the watching show. It doesn't exist. Can't promise anything.
Yep, we don't promise anything, but if you make enough noise, we'll definitely think about it. We're already thinking about it, so we'll think about it harder and more. We all but promise to try it. That's, I think, where we're at. But
we are committed to the possibility.
I'm 100% sure that it's 60% going to happen. What is that joke? That's from something.
Oh, that's from Anchorman.
That's it. Yeah.
40% of the time, it works 100% of the time. I think that's how that goes.
60% of the time, it works every time.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Definitely, maybe. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, you guys should, if you're fans of us, you should watch Fat Legs at least. Too Much Milk is pretty good. They're both funny. Like, you get it. They're like Balloon Shop wannabe cute videos.
That's even better. I was going to say Balloon Shop-esque. No, Balloon Shop wannabe is better because it means esque but inferior to.
Yeah.
And that's exactly right.
Yeah.
That's exactly
Maybe
right.
they might be only inferior on title because the quality to me is equal to like old Balloon Shop videos. As far as the performance of, anyway. Those people are funnier than us because we can't say we're funnier than them. And they are funnier than us.
Yep. It has been measured.
Yeah.
The technology exists.
Yeah. Well, we can wrap this up pretty quick if you want.
Yeah. Yes!
I do!
I don't have an enthusiastic yes button. No, I
don't. Yes! We can wrap it up.
Hey.
Yes!
Hey, tell me that we could wrap the show up again.
We can wrap it up.
Yeah. Tell me what button I have.
Yes. Yes, we will. Yes. Okay.
All right. Camera over there.
How many? Goodbye.